how to create a searchable drop-down list in Excel. That way it's easy to find the options you are looking for. Let's say you have a large list of items, of people names, of cities, states, and etc. Doesn't matter, right? You have a list in Excel. You can go here and then type the name you are looking for. And based on the search criteria, the list is going to show you only the items that match with the criterion. But let's say if you are using an older version of Excel, you can't enable this option. This feature is only available on the newer versions of Excel, such the version I'm using right now, Excel 365. How can you do if you have an older version of Excel? How can you enable the same feature within the drop-down list? I'm going to show you a very interesting solution. Don't worry, because it's very easy to do. Everything is done. You just need to copy and paste and follow with me this step by step. Let's say I am using an older version of Excel. So how can I have this same list, the same feature? I just double click in the cell where I want to use the list, 1, 2, and then Excel is going to open up this custom-made drop-down list. It's the same way to use. Just go here, type the name you're looking for, the list updates automatically for you, and that's it. Very simple. Here we can find anything, just double click on the option, 1, 2, and that's it. Good to go. And to activate, 1, 2, double click on the cell, and then you can open up the list. Basically, we are going to use a VBA code, but you don't need to know how to use VBA because the codes are already done here. You just need to copy and paste this exactly code that I'm going to show you. And make sure you go to the video description to download this whole Excel file so you can follow along this video with me. So download the file and then come right back. To get started, just make sure you get rid of the drop-down list you currently have. Let's say right here within the column C, I have the states. And instead of use a traditional drop-down list of Excel, I want to create my own, like I show you guys in the beginning of the video. Let me select this whole range, go to data, and then data validation. Let me click yes. And I want to, instead of use a list, I want to allow any value to get rid of the list actually. Okay, and that's it. Now I have normal cells that I can insert anything. But instead of using normal cells, I want to transform it in a drop-down list, the one that I showed, right? So what we can do right here, we need to use basically the developer tab. Let's say you don't have the developer tab enabled on your Excel. What you can do, you can click on the home tab, and within any blank area, such as this spot right here, you can right click on it, go to customize the ribbon, and within this new dialog box, there are the Excel options. Instead of use popular commands, change to all tabs. Within those options, you're going to find developer, just click on that, and then click add, and then click OK. That's it. That's how you enable the developer tab. Within the developer tab, no, you don't need to click on it yet. We are going to use the Visual Basics, okay? But before we jump into the Visual Basic, we need to have maybe a couple of things here. We need to have the first code. Of course, now you have because you download this Excel file. So we are going to use the first code, the second code, and the third one. Very simple, just copy and paste. And on top of that, we also need to have 2 more sheets, let's say. The first one being the main one where you want to use the drop-down list. In my case, the name is logistic info. So be mindful about the name that you have within in your sheet, okay? In my case, logistic info. And as the second sheet, again, the name is also important. I have state names where I have a bunch of different states. It's just a very simple range. I did here a header and then one name underneath another one. Very simple. I stack here a bunch of options. Just type in something very, very simple. Just add a blank sheet and then you can do the ranges. Okay, anyway, we have here those 2 tabs. And then let's go back to the second code because maybe we need to change here some things. Let's say the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th row. You may need to change those options. And I also highlight here for you. But why is that? Because maybe your sheet name is not state names. Maybe the range you are using is different than the ones that I'm using right now. So this first range right here, C2 to C5000, refers to the drop-down range. So where do you want to make the drop-down list works? In my case, I want to make this work in the logistic info. So starting on cell C2 and going all the way down to the last row of this dataset. But today I have 1,201 rows. Maybe tomorrow I have more rows, and maybe 2,000 rows, 3,000 rows, who knows? So I'm using here a larger range. I'm starting the cell C2 and going all the way C5000, because that way I have more area to use in the future, the drop-down list. So this is why I'm using here the range C2 to C5000. And be mindful, if you want to change this range, it's very simple. Just make sure you keep the quotations, and within the quotations you change the range. Let's say instead of C2, I'm going to use F3 to F150, for example. Very simple. Then hit enter, that's it. You change the range, you change the column and also the rows. But let me go back to the option I was using before. And as the state names is the sheet where you have your list. In my case, is state names where I have my whole list. So make sure you use the same exactly name. If you prefer to be more secure, let's say, you can right click within this tab and then go to rename, select everything, Control C to copy, and then you can go back to the second code within this name, double click, select everything. You need to keep the open and close quotations, and then paste the name of your sheet. And as the range, guys, you can use the range that you contain the options. Mine starts in A2 and go all the way to A51. So very simple. You need to change those options right here. In the third code, you don't need to change anything. You just need to copy and paste as it is. Okay, now that we're done with those setups, let's say, let me go to the developer again, and this time we indeed can open the Visual Basic. Within this Visual Basic, you guys can see here throughout this left panel, we have many different options. Those options that may appear right here are basically the sheets we have within our workbook. The first one is the sheet 1, and we have our first code, and then the second code, the third, the logistic info, and etc. What I want to do here, I want to do basically two things. I want to right click on this blank area to insert a module, and again, right click again, insert a user form. Those things we are going to do here are very, very simple, okay? So don't worry about that. Now what we can do, let me close this panel and copy the codes. So let's start with the first one. Be mindful because we need to click, hold, and drag all the way down, all the way through those rows, select everything, and then we need to copy it. Control C to copy. Go back to the Visual Basic. And this first code, guys, we actually need to paste it within our, in my case, logistic info. That is the sheet where I want to make the drop-down list work. Double click within the sheet, 1, 2. You need to use as the drop-down list. And within this blank area, you can right click here and then paste. Okay, the whole code is here right now. Now let me again close this panel and move on to the second code. Make sure again you select everything, crop, go back to the Visual Basic, but this time I want to insert this code within the module 1. Double click within the module 1, 2, right click on this right side panel and go to paste. Okay, we're done again. Let me close. And finally, we can go to the third code, click, hold, and drag all the way down, select everything, Control C, go back to the Visual Basic. But this time I want to double click within the user form, 1, 2, and again, within the canvas of the user form, I want to double click in it, 1, 2, to open up. As you guys can see, I already have 2 lines of code, but don't worry about that. We can select everything. It's very important, okay? Do not paste yet. Just select everything, delete, then right click here and then paste. Yeah, that's it. We're done with the codes, but what we need to do now is rename everything so the code can match with our names. Let's start with the user form itself. Let me double click within this user form, 1, 2, just to open up this different view. And all the way down here, we can see the properties for each element we have within this Visual Basic. Let's say you cannot find the properties. What you can do, you can go to the View tab up here at the ribbon, open up those options. You can find the properties right here, properties window. Just enable this view, and then you're going to find out that you have this panel down here. And as the name for my user form, I want to select everything and change it to list form. Very straightforward, and everything in lowercase. So list form. Remember guys, everything in lowercase. Do not capitalize anything, just lower cases. Okay, hit enter. And to confirm if you did it right, you can go back to the form itself, and the name that you have right here needs to match with the name we just inserted. Okay, now let's go to the module 1. If you prefer, you can double click here, just to be more secure. Go all the way down here, and as the name, I want to change as well. Again, everything lowercase. For this one, I want to call it list module. Hit enter. So let me insert the name that I use right here for you guys, so it's easier to see. List module. Everything again in lowercase. Do not capitalize anything. Lowercase only. Okay. And finally, let me go back to the list form 1.2. Double click, and within this form, we can start by increase the length, specifically the height. So click on these small square handles. Click, hold, and drag downwards. Maybe I think this area can works very well. And within this canvas of the form, I want to add 2 frames. The first frame is going to be a text box, and the second one and larger one is going to be our list box. In the first one is where we need to type the information we are looking for, and in the second is where it's going to show us the options, right? So it's very simple. In my case, as you guys can see, I already can see this toolbox, but let's say you can't. So what you can do is, if you click in the list form itself, for some reason the toolbox disappears. But if you click in a blank spot, the toolbox appears again. I don't know why that happened. Maybe because it's a bug of Excel. But let me close this panel just to show you guys how to open up from scratch. If you go to the View tab, you can find out here toolbox. But once you open it, and you cannot open it again, let's say View tab, it's already activated, as you guys can see right here. So let me take this toolbox up here to the left to make it easier to see everything when I zoom out here. I want to use the 3rd and the 5th option. The 3rd option is the one that's going to be up here at top. So click on that, click, hold, and drag to draw the area. Okay, and then let's go to the 5th one. Click, hold, and drag within the canvas to draw the area. And as the first one, we can select it, go all the way down here, and change. Instead of text box 1, we can go with list text box. Again, guys, very important, everything lowercase. List text box. Everything lowercase. Let's do something similar to the second element that we have down here. So select it, go to the naming options, and change it to item list. Again, everything lowercase. We are going to use item list. That's it, we're done. Let me just close this window, and now we can check whether it's now is working. Let me go to the logistic info, and if we click within the range that we set up, nothing is going to happen. But if we double click within the cell, 1, 2, Excel is going to open up this new dialog drop-down list that we create from scratch. Let's see if it's working. If I just go here straight to an item, let's say California, double click, 1, 2. Okay, I can select it. Now let's try to find a different state. A state that I can't find throughout this list because I have many options. So I start to type in here the options that I have. So CA, now I have everything related to CA that match my search, such as California, North Carolina, and South Carolina. Let's choose this option right here, 1, 2, and that's it. So very simple, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on how to create things with VBA and Excel user form. And if you like this video, comment down below, I like it, or bring more, because that way I know you guys like this type of content and I can bring more stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I see you in the next one. Guys, and remember, it's very important to properly save your Excel file. So click on File and then go to Save As, and then Browse, and you can save this Excel file anywhere within your computer. But the important thing is you need to change Save As Type to Excel Macro Enabled Workbook. This is the most important thing, because we did some macros, some visual basic stuff, so we need to save it properly. So just give it a meaningful name and then Save As Type, the second option. That's it. This is how you properly save your macros in Excel or your codes, okay?